Greetings, hello, and welcome to this live mini masterclass. And my name is Terry Messenger, and welcome to my Genius Zone. And this zone is where I reach in and I find that special, unique gift that is inside you so that you can fan it into flames and live the best life you possibly can. So, speaking of living the best life, I would like to introduce you to a beautiful lady. This lady is someone that I feel that a lot of people, especially in the online space, are going to really gravitate toward. This is a lady who has 2 master degrees in teaching. She has a creative spirit. She has a snorting dog that she likes to have live with her. And she is an authentic person who has really seen the big problems of overwhelm, loneliness, and silent desperation in the online space. So, as I bring her on, this lady is phenomenal at helping people to take the step-by-step process to getting their first client. So, there's a lot of people out there that may be, dealing with lots of clients, or they may have, randomly be seeing clients here and there. But this is the process of getting your first client and climbing up the ladder to your ultimate success. So, with no further ado, I am going to bring on the beautiful Heather Nolan.
Oh my
Hello, Heather.
goodness. Thank you so much for that. And I absolutely love the reference to Mo, my dog, because it never fails. Whenever I'm doing a live or a class, he has a trachea problem, but in the background, it sounds like he's going to throw up. And it's not that at all. And I'm always like, I have to explain, but he loves being with me so much. And I love having him right beside me. So this is all real life and live. This is how it goes, right?
Absolutely. I cannot agree with you more. I mean, online is the new way where you hear flushing toilets, snorting
Yeah.
dogs, and kids
Children,
running around. it's just
absolutely.
it's the way of the world. And I think COVID-19 really kind of put us into a position where a lot of people had to consider to taking their business online anyway. But I'm going to start with my very first question, Heather, for our viewers. Whereabouts are you?
I am in Nova Scotia, Canada. Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Wonderful. And
It is a it is a lovely place. It is a lovely place. Gorgeous spots. I would recommend coming in the summer or the fall. Yes. Sometimes their
okay.
snowstorms can be a little vicious.
Is that right? Wow. Well, I'd love to come to Canada, and one day when the borders are
Oh,
back to normal and they kind of open up, but they're talking about 2021 being the year of the liberation. And
yeah.
as we step into this zone, we are already in March, which is hard to believe, and we're heading towards April at the speed of knots. But
Yeah.
firstly, what I'd like to do is I'd like to talk to you about, what makes you so passionate about helping people to get their first client.
Oh, I have a lot to talk about. Are you ready?
Go
First,
for it.
I'm going to start off with my story because I actually have been in the online space for 6 years, which is a long time. I remember 6 years ago making the decision. It actually was July 14th. I don't know why I remember that date, but I was deciding whether I should be going and pursuing a PhD in education. I'm a high school teacher. I still teach to this day. I'm passionate about a lot of things within the teaching world. Um, and I was thinking, do I do this or not? And I had gone in and, gone through some of the application forms. And I thought, no, there's something, I don't know, something else. And I went on the computer and I just started seeing things about working online. And I knew nothing at all. And I made the decision to try it. So I've spent a lot of time playing around. There were a good 4.5 years where I created a bunch of little websites. I even did a little ebook. I had little challenges, Facebook groups. I even had a whole membership site set up, ready to go. But it wasn't my passion. So, but I scrapped that. And then I found coaching, because one thing that I know that I love to do is talk to people about starting online businesses. I've always loved the idea of going out and creating something, and that entrepreneurial spirit. I love that. I could sit down, we plan, we go over things, and that's my passion. And
Mm,
I had
love that.
learned so much going through all of these little projects that I had done, that I knew that I could help somebody actually start their business. And so that's where this coaching came in. And I was able to help a few people at the beginning, just to make sure that I was able to, actually go through with it. And I loved it, and I got hooked.
That's amazing. And what I'm hearing is there's people that have got different gifts for different elements.
Mhm.
So anyone out there that is really starting out, maybe they've just been certified, maybe they've just decided that they want to start a business of whatever that field may be. To have a starting ground that is
Mhm.
rock solid
Yeah.
foundation is as important as the foundation that is set for building your house. So, my own little story, just in relating to what you've just said, actually, and is that, in 2017, my husband and I both sold our practice, and we had a really successful clinic. And at 2017, I'd seen 3,800 case studies, right? So we were doing really well, and I'd be helping people because it didn't matter. You didn't need a niche. You didn't
Mhm.
need that four-letter word, right? Which is actually five, but I call it four, because it's really, it was you're if you knew about the subconscious mind, you could change absolutely anything and everything. And whether a person wanted to shred the excess kilos, or if they wanted to let go of an addiction, or if they wanted to build self-confidence and self-worth because of trauma or whatever it was, the subconscious is so omnipotent that when you actually change something at that level, it has this amazing domino effect. But here was my big thing, and I'm sure you will be able to actually enlarge on this. So, being successful, and there'd be days when I'd be working back to back with clients. And so, when we closed the doors, we sold our practice, and then suddenly I came online just to enter the cricket show. The cricket show, right? That is, basically you were talking to no one. And, because of my art, because of my work, because of all of these elements, I'm like, well, how is
I
it that
know.
this happened? But that was when I hit the wall. And I know if someone like you had have come along then, that would have been an absolute answer of a prayer answered. So, what I want to do is I want to ask you, what are some of the things that you believe that are really holding people back when they do first come online, when
Mm.
they are trying to develop their
Oh,
business? What's the disease here? What's
oh,
happening?
overwhelm and over so much information. There are so many strategies, great strategies, and they work. It's just that you can't do them all at once.
Mm.
You can't start on Instagram, Facebook, Pinterest, LinkedIn, website, blog, membership. You can't do everything all at once. It's it's too much to take on in the beginning.
Mm.
Eventually you can get there. And the thing is that a lot of people look and say, "Oh, to be successful, I have to have all these things solved." And when you're beginning, what you need to do is you need to have some clients in front of you, and you need to start off with one offer. And once you can get that down, those are the essentials. Then you can branch off and you can go into all those areas. But what happens is people start and they go, "Oh, well, what about that?" Or, "Oh, that looks like a really good course. I should go and take that too." And they get off the path. And what you need to do is just get those foundational pieces in place. So when they go off on all these paths, their head is spinning. They have no
Mm.
time. They're overwhelmed. And then they start to feel like they can't do it. They feel like they're
Mm.
not meant for success. They can't see their way out of it, and it can be a really lonely place. It's already a hard enough kind of learning curve because when you're going,
Mm.
not all of us have technical skills or marketing skills, you know, or online engagement skills. So we're
Yeah.
not, we've got all of that to sort of learn as
But
well.
see,
So then,
you're absolutely right because there are so many platforms, right? So you've got, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, LinkedIn,
mhm,
now you've got Clubhouse. And so there's all of these different platforms. And
yeah,
it's like, if you're spreading yourself thin, is it a case of being like a jack of all trades and a master of none, rather than being a jack of all trades and a master of one? So, what is
absolutely.
your, yeah, give us a gold nugget of
Okay.
what the new person or even the person that's been around for a long time that just cannot make
Yeah.
headway. Let's
Yeah.
hear some of your wisdom.
Okay. So this is what I suggest. This was what I did for myself when I was all over the place. I sat down and I picked one platform and I learned all of the strategies. And it took, a little bit of time, but I learned and I practiced and I tweaked and I failed. And I want to talk about failing after, but I tweaked again, right? And I got better at it. I picked one product. I have one offer
Mm.
to begin with. And that's what I put out. I didn't start with one thing one week and then another thing and then change and go. I have one. And you can
Mm.
always add to that one, but your clients will get to know you, or your ideal clients will get you to know you for that one thing. And
I
then
love
what I
that.
did,
There's a book about that. You know that the one thing.
oh, yeah. Yeah. And it's so true. It really is. Yeah. And then I want to offer this one suggestion because a lot of people in the beginning stages, a lot of people tend to do this. And this was my big thing that helped me a lot. I call it putting in a convert path, or a path for your ideal client to take to get to you that is easy. So I want you to envision a snake. So
I don't
the
like
snake, okay, there's a snake. So you've got at the one end of the snake, you've got eyeballs on your post or your Instagram, whatever, and then that leads you to sign in for this freebie. And then that leads you to a blog post. And then that puts you on an email list. And then that leads you to another masterclass. And then that leads you to maybe your offer. So there's this snake effect that people, and that's what's taught out there. And it's not wrong, but if you want to get yourself out there and get clients quickly, that's the long approach. And I'm passionate about teaching in the very beginning short attraction actions. And so what I want people to do is I want people to put out a post, but then I want it to lead directly to a place where you can have a conversation with somebody and then to your offer, instead of this whole snake. And that's hoping people go through the whole process. So that,
I know. Do they call that a funnel, right? And I mean, people pay thousands of dollars for funnels, but you know what? Whether it's a funnel or a pipeline, I think the snake actually sounds very, very, very appropriate. And, you know, can I give an example? Because today I was talking to a beautiful lady and she's got this amazing product. And this just exactly what you just said. And she was saying to me, you know, I've got a skincare range and I've got nutrition and I've got this travel. And I'm like, whoa, just hold on, just slow down a moment. So which one are you most passionate about? Now, do you know how I find people's passion, Heather? Do you know how I find people's absolute true mission and their genius zone?
do tell.
Okay, so I'm going to share a little gold nugget here because this is what it's all about.
Yeah.
The genius zone. It is where her biggest pain point was. So it was reflective. So everything in you, when you are online and when you have got something to offer, the more genuine, the more authentic, and the more close and real to your own heart and your own agony is going to be where the pain of your story turns into your glory. Now, a lot of people, they will be totally, and I know this because I suffered this myself, they will be totally resistant about, you know, just doing what you've just said about the one thing and the one product. But then when I told her, well, is this working for you? And she said,
Yeah.
well, no. And I said, okay. So once we talked about and we collated her post, that is everything that I got from her to help her write that first post was about her own story, reaching out. And then once, basically, then when you're talking to that person and, you know, you can be looking, we discovered that her biggest thing was skin. And she'd grown up with allergies. She'd grown up feeling, you know, really ugly, and she had dry, dehydrated skin. So she has stumbled onto this product. And then as a result, she's standing in her power. She's feeling great because that was her pain point. For the next person, it might be about their body. For the next person, it may be about their self-worth. But when I find that when they find it that way, that is where their mission and their vision becomes the decision that suddenly opens up this great big new world for their success through their genius zone.
I like, you are totally, yeah, totally. Because for me, well, two things. One, I was all over the place and I didn't have a path and it felt awful. I was confused. I was tired. I was disappointed. I was feeling guilty. I had spent money on stuff and I felt like I had nothing to show for it. And that's depressing, right? And it was really hitting me. And so what I did was I created the program, the path I needed to get me to get my business going and to get clients. And that is what I so want to help people do, is take them out of that, I don't know what I'm doing. And I want to put them there and go, okay, we can do all these other things. There's nothing wrong with funnels, but at the very beginning, that's not what you need. That's not what you need. Let's get you set up easily first. So that's one pain point. And then the other thing that's been coming up for me, and I know we were talking a little bit about this before, is that loneliness and that up and down roller coaster ride that we as entrepreneurs, most of us go through. And not just new entrepreneurs, but even more experienced ones, as I'm talking about. And I want to create a space to be able to help people go, go through that and realize that they're not alone, they're not crazy. Having a bad moment does not mean that they're not going to be successful. They just have to keep going. They have to keep tweaking. And this is where the failure part comes in. It's not failure, it's learning. Reframe that. If you have something go wrong, great. Go and tweak it. Go
How
and
many
learn.
times did Thomas Edison fail?
Pardon
Like,
me?
he's a
Oh,
classic. How many times? Like Thomas Edison,
absolutely.
he failed
Absolutely.
10,000 times. And he says that he found 9,999 ways of how it didn't work.
Yeah.
And so, John Maxwell calls it failing forward. So in
Yes.
actual fact, one of the recipes to success is failure. To be able to fail and to be able to learn and know that when you learn and turn it around. So now what I'd like to do is I'd like you to share with the audience. I'm going to ask you to bring 3 gold nuggets. Now, I know there's a lot of people out there that want to actually, get their business off the ground. They want to attract more customers, and they would be so appreciative to hear what you've got to say. So I'm going to give you the floor, and I'm going to ask you for, 3 good gold nuggets. If you have enough, if you've got more, that's fine. And I'm going to give you,
Good.
I'm going to give you perhaps the next moment or so to have the stage and, tell our audience, what is it that would be the greatest, guideline to get them off the ground and to help them to get their customers?
Okay. Ready? Here we go. Number one, you need to have a goal. What is it that you are going to give to somebody else? What problem can you help solve? Because if you can help solve a problem for somebody, if you can go in and you can take them from point A, where they are, to point B, to where they want to be, they will want to work with you. So you need to go and you need to figure out who this ideal client is, and then how you can help solve their problem. And it doesn't have to be this great, big, huge, big program. And in fact, honestly, in the beginning, I highly, highly recommend that what you do is come up with a mini offer, something smaller. Get that offer out there. See if it's working, tweak it if it needs to, get some testimonials, get paid a bit too, and then expand. So then I've already said this before too, but pick one platform, pick one place where your ideal client is hanging out, and master engagement in that area. And if you need help, there are places to go to get lots of strategies for that, but learn that one platform and stick with your plan. Another thing is to realize that there are going to be ups and downs, and to almost prepare yourself for these ups and downs. And in advance, know that when you have kind of a downtime, you're not going to stay there. And get some things, read, get podcasts, get inspirational messages, and have them ready for when you have those downtimes. And don't feel like you are alone, because we all go through it. But I'm telling you, in the moment, it does feel lonely. Um, be proud of all of the stuff that you are doing. One thing that people say is, I've got so much to learn. I've got so many things that I have to do. I have so much to, I still have this great big huge mountain to climb. But we forget to treat ourselves with kindness, I guess, and say, but wow, look at all of the stuff that I have done. Look at all of the stuff that I did do. Like, wow, I set that website up. It took me forever and I struggled, but I did it and I learned a lot from it. And be proud of that. Stop only looking at this mountain ahead of you, because guess what? There's always going to be, no matter what goal you reach, there's going to be a new mountain to climb. So you've got to start feeling proud of what you did, of what you have done. And I guess the last thing, can I say one more?
Please,
Yeah.
yes, absolutely.
The last thing, with keeping it simple, is that know that this is a process. This is a journey, and it does take a bit of time. Okay? Like, you have to realize, take one step in front of the other, be very, very clear, but don't stop. Because I
Mm.
always say to myself, what if I just stopped and later on in life I looked back and I wondered, well, what if? What if? And I never want to be in that position. I'm not going to give up, because I don't want to be in that place. So reach out to somebody. There's tons of us out here that can help, and just don't stop. Get some
And
information.
speaking of
Keep
reaching
going.
out, how do people reach out to you, Heather? Because, those people out there that are really just in that position, that
Yeah.
really resonate with what you've just said, they're going to want to know, how do I find this lady?
HeatherJNolan.org. And I'm going to spell that out because a lot of people spell my last name wrong. Heather, HeatherJNolan.org.
Beautiful. That is a teacher for you right there. I think we all got that. I think even I got that, and I didn't even have to write that down, and I'll probably remember it when I wake up tomorrow. So that is so fantastic. And I love that. Keep it simple, be a
Oh,
master of one thing, and track and measure. That is just gold. I just want to thank you so much, Heather, for your gold nuggets. And, guys, where to find this lady. And I believe she's got a beautiful, juicy program for people that are really just starting out. So get in contact with her. And I'm going to ask you to stay backstage. And
okay.
I'm going to close down. And thank you so much. You're
Thank
amazing.
you so much. I've loved this. I've loved this. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Oh, what an absolute gem. So there you go. And, this is what people need to hear, because sometimes it is the fundamentals and the basic steps, because unless you take the first step, how are you going to take the second step? So it's when you can really just get crystal clear, laser, lucid, focused. That is what it's all about. So guys, you know, I hope you have enjoyed this live, this podcast, wherever you are. And what I'd like to do is I'd like you to perhaps look at what your genius zone is. And if you want to really hone in to what your mission, your vision, and your purpose is, and you want to know how to become the authority in your field, how to stand out, and how to really just be able to connect with all the right people, then why not drop me a line? You can head over to my booking link and you can jump on and let's get connected. And maybe you would even like to be interviewed. So if you feel that you've got something inside you, you'd love to come forward and share that, I would love to speak to you. And on that note, I'm going to love you and leave you. Thank you so much for joining. Ask questions, drop those questions in the comments because we will come back and we will make sure that every single one of them are answered. So bye for now and have a beautiful night. Bye.